Shalom, it's Alizah with Shelley Village. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am shooting this video to share a little bit of what the end of the week looks like for us in order to prep for that debrief Friday meeting that I spoke about in my transition video. I've gotten so many questions about that, I'm not sure I can answer them all, but hopefully this video will seek to answer many of them. So if you look on the left, I have a sheet that's flipped upside down because I want to show it to you once I go through the things on the right. And if you look to the right, you can't see it yet, but it's a stack of paper clipped work by subject. Now, some of the subjects that he completes, it's in a journal that I've compiled, or it's in a consumable workbook that I've probably cut the spine and made it be spiral bound. So that's not a part of this, even though that's not a part of this in this video. Even though in our meeting, I stacked this folder with any work that was done in a consumable or in a journal to go through. So we are looking for, or really he is looking for, a few things when I give him back this folder. But I'm going to back up a little bit and start with me. So first, if you've watched any of my What's in My Workbox videos, particularly the videos for the first week of 2018-2019 on my Facebook page, you'll see that one of the things I implemented this school year was the "Okay, I'm done" box. And so as he works through his day and progresses from the top word box all the way down to the bottom, he is telling me, hey, I'm done with this. You know, he'll just say, Mom, I got done, or I'm finished. And then I will give it a quick look. Depending on what it is, it may take more than a quick look. And once I give him the green light, he will stick that assignment in his "Okay, I'm done" box. That "Okay, I'm done" box stays at the bottom of the workbox, and he continues to add through it all week. On Friday mornings, I pull it and I stack it up. I stack up all the work according to subject, including the consumables and journals, and I give it a more thorough look. And I include notations. This is a good job, or right neater this time, or I think you can be a little bit more in depth here, and then he'll have to go back to that assignment and do that. Simple things like that. So once I am done kind of going through his work, I then insert all of his assignments with everything in the "Okay, I'm done" box, as well as with my own lesson planner. I enter all of his assignments in our record tracker or our record keeper, and I insert it at the end. So I plan their work obviously at the beginning, but I don't insert into our record keeping device or our tracking tool until the week is over, and that prevents me from having a lot of undone work sitting in that tool that I have to go back and reconcile, sort through, maybe even edit or change depending on how the week went. So it's easier for me to, even though I have a plan, I have my lesson planner and I've planned everything, and maybe I'll show you. Yeah, let me get my lesson planner and show you. So here I would have planned it. So that was pre-planned already. But that doesn't, the plan in real life doesn't necessarily go hand in hand. So when I get to the track portion, I only insert what was done. And then, of course, my notes or the score is already on it. So I can just quickly insert the assignment, insert any notes that I may want to add about it, and then either give him a check if it's just a subject where I'm just checking to make sure he did it, or give him a score if it's a score-based subject. What that does is it produces this document right here. So this is everything that he did for the week, which is different than everything I planned for the week, even though most of the time it's the same. So I include this sheet on the left-hand side of this folder when we have our meeting. And this is the first thing that I give to him. Look through your assignments. Make sure everything that's on here you indeed did. Did I miss something or not? And he has his agenda and he's going through, what he's done. Any questions or discrepancies, we have the work there on the right-hand side as well as his consumables and journals, of course, to answer any questions or to reconcile any discrepancies. So I usually add a note at the bottom, which you'll see down here, and I'll read it. It just says, everything looks awesome. You're off to a good head start. And then I may give him something to do that still needs to be done. So the first bullet here says, update score sheet and agenda, because it's Friday and he needs to either put all of his assignments in there if he hasn't been doing it throughout the week, or just add whatever is missing. And then if you'll see here, I have an assignment that's highlighted. And it's highlighted in green also, and that's for a particular reason that I'll explain in a minute. So anything that's highlighted tells me it's not complete. So I highlighted for him to know you have until Sunday, our meeting that we meet for the beginning of the week, to get that to me. It's highlighted in green because we have highlighter colors that we use in his agenda to note whether a subject is semi or whether it's independent or whether it is teacher/mom based. It just depends on the subject. Some of them I teach, some of them I don't. So green is his independent color. So I highlighted in green to say this is something that is missing, but it's also an independent subject. So this is something you can do on your own and get it back to me before Sunday during our meeting. And then another note off to the side just says anything you need for next week, which he typically will write me something he needs, whether it's a supply or whether I need a break from math this week, or remember I have whatever. He just normally tells me something that he needs that I need to be aware about. And then I just include week number 1 up there in the left-hand corner. And so I will add each week to his portfolio binder as we go. So he'll have however many weeks of school we completed. Normally we range between about 36 to 42 long term, like all of the subjects together, or until all of the subjects are complete. That's a better way to say that, because not all of them are that long. Okay, so we review through this, go through this, and then I go ahead and total up the hours that I know he's already done, either because I've observed it or because I was given the instruction. So he has to add any independent or extra time he added. So for example, here on Tuesday where it said tutoring instruction, well, I gave him that hour because he meets with his tutor for an hour. But that does not include the time he has spent doing any assignments she has given him or any practice work that he needs to do, because all of the other days are just the assignments I have for him. So he would need to factor in that time. Oh, I spent 30 minutes, working on my assignment that Miss So-and-so gave me. Factor that back in. But I kind of do that leg work for him right now until he can, manage that a little bit more on his own. The other thing that will be included is his attendance report. And it just so happens that we started school the last week of August, so he has an attendance report sheet already after the first week of school. But this won't be a weekly thing. It's more of a monthly thing, or wherever that attendance falls off for that month. In this case, it was the first week of school, so he's already earned 5 weeks of school. And if you saw my video, either my transition video or my student academic planner video, and I will do my best to link both of them in the description box for you. If you saw that, you know that he has to keep up with his attendance in his agenda. So this is a time for us to reconcile anything. I have 5 days of school for you. Do you have 5 days of school for you? And for the most part, that lines up. So of course, only within a week of school, we both have 5 days. And so I print that for him for our meeting. And then of course, it's going to also go in his portfolio binder. And that's the beauty of a transition year that we had last year. I got a chance to play around with that to really develop what I wanted our organization to look like so that I could spend grades 7 and 8 really being consistent and organized with it. So I just flow right into grade 9 without skipping a beat. Okay, so I'm going to go through this for you, and not all of it, but just a little bit for you to get the idea. So again, on the right hand side, it would be completed work. We have not worked ourselves up to a full course load yet. So we just started with the majority of our course subjects, not all, and 2 electives. So this is not indicative of everything. Again, he has consumables and like bound journals, but this is some of it. So he does current events twice a week, and so he has 2 sheets on that. He definitely let me know that he liked the blue sheet better, so I will be printing more of those for him to do. And I believe the file that I purchased has maybe 6 different templates, so I'll just, at random, in rotation, give him different templates and see what he likes and what he doesn't like. But he preferred that one, so I'll definitely use that one a little bit more. Okay, and then in history and geography, even though all of this is kept in a flexi binder, I can take it out. So I do. So all of his work here, and what I'm looking for is a date. So you can see here, he decided to write his own date. Here he has a stamp. I bought him a stamp where he can move it to whatever date that he needs to and stamp it. He likes that. He loves that. He prefers that. And so I'm okay with it. But sometimes he does decide to just write it out by hand, particularly on current events because it's very early in the morning, or it's the first thing in the morning, I should say. We don't start very early, but it's the first thing in the morning, and he probably hasn't grabbed all of his supplies and is stamping all that yet. Okay, I'm looking for a name and a date. So I've covered up his name for the video, but it's there. And he's looking for a sticker or whatever note that I have. Sometimes I write a score on it if it's a score-based thing. Sometimes I write a notation if it's more of a I just need to comment on something. Or I'll give a sticker to say I've seen it and it's good. Because sometimes we have our meetings, especially when we have our term meetings, and he'll be like, well, Mom, I did that, and you don't have me marked for my attendance or my score. And I'm like, that's because I didn't see it. And if he'll go grab it and show me that sticker, well, then I did see it, and that's my mistake, excuse me. But if he grabs it and there's no sticker on it, I'm like, yeah, I never saw that, type thing. So that kind of keeps us together. And then I also print his math report, which we're doing teaching textbooks, and we're also doing 5 a day. I don't have his 5 a day up here to show, but he's doing great in that as well. He managed 7 lessons this week. I won't print this again until we get to the end, which I think is 16. I'll just hand write it in there as to preserve some paper. And I just write what he did in a week. This is week 1. And I write as of 8/31/18. So, and sometimes he does 2 lessons in a day. He'll double up in a minute. So he managed 7 lessons, and that way he can see what he needs. What I'm looking for is that at least a lesson a day was done, which it was. I'm looking for a score of 80% or higher, which he has. And I shouldn't get to this point on Friday and see that there is something less than 80%, and he knows that. If he scored less than 80%, he has to now have the lesson retaught a different way. So not necessarily with teaching textbooks, either his tutor or me, or he can choose a YouTube video, etc. But he has to have it retaught in a different way, and then he has to redo the lesson again if he made less than the 80%. So, and I need to know that live, like in real time during the lesson, so I can make adjustments during the week for that. So thankfully, he already knows that. So I expect to see scores over 80, and I have, and the majority of those first 7 lessons are review for him. So I expect to see a higher score. So that looks normal to me. So we would sit, I didn't really have a lot for him. I'm like, that looks normal. I like it. Keep it up. Let's keep moving. Okay, a multicultural lit. And this is a subject that he does have a bound journal for, so it won't ever be much to have loose in this folder. I just brought that journal up during our meeting, but there was a few questions I had him answer that were on a worksheet that I just put together really, really quickly about this poem called Oh My Moana, and I needed to give him feedback on it. And he has some copy work from the Hebrew scriptures, and then here he has a table that he is keeping up with, I think, the battles between Israel and Philistine. So that's what that meeting looked like. And then he opened up his agenda. We made sure everything was checked off. I made sure he had updated the attendance for the week and that he had inserted his hours in his tracker. So what I'm going to do for probably the first 6 weeks of school, maybe 4 to 6 weeks of school, is I'm writing in that tracker as how I want it to look as a model for him and a reference for him, and then he'll take on that task by himself in probably our 2nd term of school. And I may sit down and do a 6-week video. I'm not sure. I may, and if I do, I will plan to show you what that looks like, so you have an update as we progress throughout the year. I do hope this video was helpful to you. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, shalom.